Oh, hey, didn't see you there. You just caught me checking my bank account. Let's see if I can still feed my crippling video game addiction. Well, it's better than I had last year. I need to add video games to my collection, otherwise I'll be missing out on tons of experiences and worlds. That's why I bought the past 3 Far Cry games. Can't you tell I'm an idiot? I may only have 2 cents in my bank account, but I've got one dream, and that's to add as many games into my collection as I can. I want to eventually have a game room with shelves filled with games, old and new. What can I say? Virginity runs in my blood. I need to add games into my collection, but on the cheap. Question is, how? The second-hand market, an easier alternative to just stealing things. You can obtain a lot of things such as second-hand clothes, furniture, or even video games. Out of all these, pre-owned games is the most common and easily accepted. Most of the time, video games can't be ruined or damaged like furniture or clothes can. Generally speaking, it is hard to come across used clothes stores unless you're specifically looking for it. But almost all places that sell video games have used video games. So that begs the question, why do people easily turn a blind eye when it comes to secondhand video games? And why does my used copy of Destiny 1 have a nut bar in it? The main appeal of used video games is the cheaper price tag. Most games usually get 10 to 20% off when they become pre-owned, which for a fully priced $80 game is an $8 to $12 saving. That means you might be able to treat yourself to this. Generally, when you're finished with a game, you're happy with trading it in for other games to have different experiences. Unless of course you're trading in Call of Duty for another Call of Duty, you might as well just keep your game at that point. I remember buying new games and trading them in order to buy other games. Sure, it saved me money, but looking at it later down the line, I missed out on adding all these games into my collection because I would trade them in. For example, Kung Fu Panda. Guys, I went back to EB Games and bought it back. Don't mind the blood. Trading in your games means that you can pick up and try new games. You see, this isn't normal. Most pre-owned games don't even look as if they're pre-owned, some come in perfect condition. Most of the time. Pre-owned games are usually just as good as new games, but sometimes you get one that looks like it's just been through a shredder. Like, what happened here? The most common problem with pre-owned games is that they're usually missing a few things with the game case, such as a manual or a poster that comes with the game. The one time I got a pre-owned game with everything included, I thought I was in heaven. God? Of course that's best case scenario with used games. When a game has swapped hands a few times, of course it's going to show some signs of wear. You get games with minor imperfections such as cracks in the game case, missing extras such as the game manual, or the game case is starting to get chapped. Look at this, it looks dehydrated. Somebody get this man a Dasani. I have games that have sustained injuries that I have no explanation as to how it got there, like my copies of the Black Eyed Peas Experience has water damage on the box art, which I can only assume was caused by someone waterboarding it. Why won't you die? There are games in my collection that I cherish and try to take care of. For example, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Halo Reach, and Dishonored. All these games are important to me and I make sure to take care of them with the best of my ability. But Halo 3 is my favorite game in my collection, and do you want to see what condition it's in? I failed as a father. The plastic cover is chapped and full of scratches. It's also peeling off at the bottom. The game case is dented and bends inwards, plus I'm missing the poster and game manual that came with the game. If this is what my favorite game looks like, imagine what one of my most hated game looks like. Oh. Spider-Man Friend or Foe is a game that I despise, yet it's in near perfect condition. I could eat off of this. Remember when I talked smack about Sonic 06? Yeah, here's what the game case looks like. What the f*** is wrong with me? Then you get games that got so mangled that they're almost unrecognizable from the original product. I have only one game in my collection that fits this category, and that's my copy of FIFA 10. Look at this thing, chunks of the game case are missing, the plastic wrap for the box art is damaged from a sharp edge and blunt impacts. Clearly someone got their $14 worth out of FIFA 10. Major damage to the case is the most common imperfection. There's usually a missing chunk of the game box as if a rat ate it or something. Then, There's damaged or missing game box art that either had to be replaced by these printouts or the generic game store box art. One time I found a game with missing box art that was replaced with a piece of paper with the game name and the console it's for written in marker. You know what comes to mind when I think Kung Fu Panda? Scrabble. The greatest mystery in all of gaming is how do you keep the case but lose the box art? You can't just lose it, you have to make the active decision to throw it away. Sometimes you get games that are missing both the box art and the case. Mostly this is due to people putting them in this mass media cases such as these ones. These things are a collector's worst nightmare. Sure, they save space, but if you ever want me to never look you in the eyes again, then go for it. I haven't been able to look at myself in the mirror for years. This was from my younger years, of course. Even now, I can see how scratched up and damaged these games are just from the media case. I've owned games back from when my dad used to play games. We were living in Brunei at the time and oh my god, look at these things. The game cases aren't proper Xbox cases, they're just generic DVD cases. And plus they printed out the game box art on paper. These look horrible. I appreciate the effort to print out the box art, but some of these are the lowest quality images you can find. I'll be honest, I never took my dad as a CSI fan. In general, game companies would much prefer if you bought a new game over a used game as they get all the profits from the sale. With used video games, it's the game stores that make the profit. Digital games don't have this problem as they usually cut out the middleman, meaning that if I bought a Nintendo game off the Nintendo Game Store, then 100% of the profits go to Nintendo. Not only that, but there is no such thing as a used digital video game. So the only time that the price of a game goes down is if it's on sale. At the end of the day, buying video games new or digitally will help you support the developers in making sequels or even different video games. While buying pre-owned games may be gross, it's a lot more wallet friendly and can allow you to buy even more video games. Whichever you prefer is completely up to you, but used video games are here to stay. And if they disappear in 10 years' time, then I'll eat my own words. Seriously. Oh, hey! Didn't see you there. You just caught me in the year 2031. 10 years ago, I made a promise saying that if used video games disappear, I'd eat my own words. Well, the last used video game was destroyed, and the digital market has taken over. And everyone's broke because they can't get 10% off of SpongeBob Pudding Bash 2. Well, I'm a man of my word. So here goes nothing.